Great.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all right. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the experience we've had in retail with RFID, and I'd just like to just tell a little bit about who DENSO Wave are initially. So DENSO Wave is a global provider of high-quality auto ID equipment. We are part of the Toyota group, so we have a large company behind us. And we also invented the QR code, which is getting quite a lot of popularity at the moment for obvious reasons. We also have one or two derivatives as well, including secure QR code and also face recognition QR code. So we provide RFID readers, handhelds, and other barcode scanning products, but we also have traceability solutions. We have an industrial IoT data management platform, and we also design and manufacture robots, so quite an eclectic mix of products. But enough of that, let's get on to the point in question today. So retail is struggling. It was struggling before COVID, and it's struggling even more with COVID. And according to studies, we are seeing a lot of problems, probably mainly with understocks and overstocks. So overstocks where there are products that you have too many products in your store or your supply chain, and understock where you have too little, surprisingly enough, or even none at all, which is even worse. Also, supply chain errors are quite rife in some respects, in respect that they can tracking down to item level is not really done too much, or if it is, it's time consuming. So there is errors, misdeliveries, short items, and both these factors also then factor into the shrinkage. So this is losses within the supply chain, and shrinkage happens because there is no traceability, or not enough traceability within the supply chain. So a lack of data clouds people's decision making. So we at DENSO Wave have partnered with a software company called RFKeeper, and the intention is to try and bring this this RFID technology not into the bigger retailers, but into the smaller ones. Previously, lots of the bigger retailers have obviously been using RFID in retail for a number of years, but it's not percolated down so much to the smaller retailers, mainly because of perceived cost and complexity. So what we're trying to do here with RFKeeper's software and our hardware, we're trying to give a full solution which can be implemented quickly and easily to smaller retailers, not just the bigger ones. We do have bigger ones as well within our portfolio, but smaller retailers are equally important, probably even more important as COVID goes on and the retail landscape changes. So it is an end-to-end solution. You can mix and match which parts you want to actually use. For example, you might want to start with retail in your store, or you might want to do it at the DC. So we'll go through the individual aspects of the application. So we do provide source tagging. I know there are bureaus out there that do this on a larger scale, but for smaller retailers, then we can provide a source tagging solution at the factory typically. And obviously this gives each individual item a digital RFID identity, which can be used for tracking right through the supply chain, right to the shops. And also having a digital identity at this stage, a unique digital identity, then you can also stop grey market issues and also track it straight into the distribution center. So the distribution center, yes, we've got inbound checking right down to item level. Now, if you've ever seen somebody trying to do inbound checking at a DC with barcodes, where you have a container of 20,000 items, it takes around about 4 or 5 hours. With RFID, you can do that in the time it takes to unload the container, about 15 to 20 minutes. So we can provide that. We can also provide shipping validation on the outbound side of things as well. And more importantly, and more interestingly, it's becoming more obvious that people who do a lot of online deliveries from their distribution centers are wanting to do inventory counts more regularly, so they've got better inventory accuracy within the DCs. And should you want to, yes, there is also the ability to print labels and do association at the distribution center. So on the way to the store, yes, we can also do checking, inbound checking to the store, right down to item level, 100% shipping validation. We can provide inventories in various ways. You can do it by group. And that's, for example, menswear or women's wear, or even concessions if you have concessions within your store. And we can also provide searches straight from the inventory to enable you to look for items that may be missing in the inventory. Search capabilities have already been described by another participant, but again, it's very useful being able to actually search for items, be it an inquiry from a customer to go and search for another item of a different color or different size, but it is all there. And also you can get replenishment reports from the store about what needs to be replenished from back of store to front of store. But further than that, we can also provide customer engagement solutions. So we can provide smart fitting rooms. So these are RFID enabled smart fitting rooms with a digital screen, which allows you to actually put content on it to say, for example, if you need to display accessories which might go with the dress that the lady has got on in the fitting room, and also, for example, to call assistance if you need another size, etc. We have also digital signage, and the digital signage also goes with smart shelving, which we have deployed in a number of cases to allow a much better interaction with the customer in real time. To go with the digital signage, we also have content creation and content distribution software, so we can actually create content to be shown on the screens and then deploy it to different regions in different languages and so forth. And finally, we can also have self-checkouts and also more traditional ways of checking out, but trying to make it more efficient as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So this is a cloud-based solution. And all the parts of the supply chain interact with the cloud solution. The reason to do this, it's quick and it's easy to deploy. We have one instance where we had a customer, a retail customer, who wanted to, on Monday said, yes, we'd like to make one of our stores RFID enabled. And by Friday of the same week, we had it all installed. They were doing very accurate and very regular inventory scans, and it included all their data as well. And that leads on to the final point here is we have easy integration with systems. It's very easy to integrate. We just need two files from the host system, the catalog file and the target file. It all integrates very well. So we've got all this data. What do we want to do with it? What can we do with it? Interaction with the cloud is via a browser, and you are presented with dashboards. And the dashboards are designed to work with different shareholders within the company. So, for example, the store managers, but also the headquarters, and each of those can have different views on what they see. For example, the store manager can see what is happening within his inventories which may be underway at the moment. He can see the accuracy of the inventory. He can see what items are missing or cannot be found. He can see understocks, overstocks, and their financial figures surrounding those figures as well. He can also look at previous inventory counts and make sure that he's actually trying to keep the inventory accuracy as high as possible. And this is important because yes, whilst inventory accuracy might be initially very high, it can wane after a period of time because of user interaction and not being very precise in what they are doing within the store. So the store manager does have to actually keep this inventory accuracy high, and we have the tools to allow him to do that. And of course, all this information that comes from the mobile devices and other devices is updated into the cloud immediately, and you have real-time information that you can call on at any stage. For the headquarters, then they have a different set of tools. Yes, they can see all the information about how the stores are doing, and they can also arrange the stores into hierarchies, so which might be different regions, different countries, and so forth. So they can look at different countries and delve down into the figures in those, or they can go down to an individual store as well. Moreover, each of the stores will be in a league table effectively to show how effectively and accurately they are performing their inventories. And this is quite important because it gives a bit of competition within the stores to make sure that they maintain their accurate levels. And all this is enabled typically by an Android mobile application connected to the DENSO SP1 RFID scanner. The application has all the features you would expect. So goods in checking, goods out checking, inventory, commissioning of tags, search for tags, etc., all in a very easy to use application. So we can actually provide a solution for everything within the supply chain. You don't have to have everything at once, and you can just pick and choose which you would want and then add to it later. And as I say, we have small retailers using this, we have large retailers using this. It doesn't matter. It's all very easy to implement and quick to do so as well. So what are we seeing? What does all this mean? And I appreciate that some of these figures might be shown elsewhere within these presentations, but this is what we are seeing. We are seeing around about a 5% uplift in sales, and this is an average figure. Some are higher, some are lower, and this is purely due to the availability of stock on the store in the store itself. That if people have got the ability to see it and touch it, they have more chance to actually buy it. The other thing we are seeing as well is stock saving rate reductions, and this comes because there is a much better confidence that you have a greater accuracy in your inventory, that you can reduce what is known as safety stock. You're storing more items because you're not confident in the amount of stock that you have. So we are seeing around about 12% reduction in stock. Shrinkage is down by roughly 50%, and this is shrinkage within the supply chain. And the reason why it's down that sort of level is not that we're actually particularly looking for shrinkage issues, but it's purely that every item going through the supply chain is now individually tagged, individually identifiable, and can be tracked in and out of distribution centers right through to the retail store. And that in itself is actually enabled by very high accuracy. Thereabouts 100% accuracy of shipping validation, both out of DCs and into stores and so forth, and also that it can be done very quickly. Stock inventory accuracy, we've seen some figures elsewhere in today's presentations, and yes, it's around about 95% or thereabout figures, and this is the foundation really for everything that goes before. So where does the money come from? You can also look for subtle changes as well, like supply chain labor costs. The ability to check in goods and check out goods quickly in your distribution center down to item level can save you a little bit of labor. Also, it can save stock taking audits as well, in the fact that you can reduce labor time it takes to do an audit, for example, in stores, can be quite time consuming with a lot of people using barcodes. Using RFID, it is very much quicker. And also audit companies are looking to recognize RFID inventory counts as being specifically okay to take into the audits themselves. Internal shrinkage, as we discussed earlier, that is a byproduct of having traceability in the supply chain. And also stock reduction, because you've got accurate inventories, you don't need so much safety stock, so you can reduce that. And in total, you get a net turnover increase. We've seen this with a number of our customers of about 1.5%. So I think it's very worthwhile that this is happening. And I must reiterate, this is happening with smaller companies, smaller retailers with only a few stores, not just the big guys. So what else have we got in solution? Well, I have to mention the SP1. So the SP1 was designed from the outset to be a high performance RFID sled. So it communicates to Android devices and also iOS devices via Bluetooth. It's been designed to have the best possible performance it can have. And more importantly, it maintains this performance over its lifetime of its battery. It doesn't, for example, reduce its performance, its RFID reading rate after 5 or 10 minutes. It continues to work at 100% right through the lifetime of the battery. And that's important where you have large inventories that may take 1 to 2 hours. You don't want your gun to start slowing down just because it has to. We don't have that problem with the RFID reader we have, the SP1. We also have a source and tag printing platform. This is not for everybody, but certainly useful for smaller retailers. And this seamlessly integrates with the cloud, so you can tag into your factories or your distribution centers. It even has the ability to design the tags internally, so you can actually design what the tags are looking like. And it integrates with an external desktop RFID printer from somebody like Sato. So this provides the input to the system at the very start of the operation. Tags, well, yes, obviously we can do soft tags, hang labels, swing labels, they're fine. But we can also use hard tags. And these are normally dual technology tags. So they have both the standard EAS type functionality, but also UHF RFID functionality in the same unit. And there's some advantages to using the dual hard tags, mainly because they can work with your existing EAS systems that you may have in your shop. And to augment that, we have a driverless smart POS detacher. So how does this work? It's an RFID reader and a EAS detacher in one. And how it works is that you can actually attach this to your POS system, your existing POS system, without a driver, without any changes to your software. It just looks like a normal barcode scanner. But it reads the RFID tag, sends that information to the EPOS so you can do the sale. But it also updates the cloud system that you've actually sold something, and obviously updates the replenishment report. So it's designed to actually not only do this, both these functions, but also to cut down the time, the checkout process. And it does this around about 50%. It reduces the checkout process time by around 50%. And it also reduces what is known as sweethearting, where somebody who behind the till may be making an unregistered sale. So in summary, it's all about getting the inventory accuracy right. And this is nothing new. This is being the business case from the early 2000s. For example, when Marks and Spencer's, one of the first companies to actually look at the business case for this. And it's still valid now. Nothing has changed really. And if you get that right, then yes, you do get increased sales. you can decrease your stock holding, you can reduce the labor costs. But what's more interesting is also you can use your store for online order fulfillment. The fact that you have more confidence that you have the stock in your store, that means you can actually send web orders or click and collect orders to the store to pick. And especially with click and collect, you can then fulfill them from store and get them to the customer even quicker. You're not having to go back to your warehouse to get the orders delivered to the store, saving on courier costs or transport costs, and also the customer can get them more quickly. And creating a better store experience. And again, as we talked about this earlier, in the fact that you need to, retail stores need to actually up their game in respect of making it more of an experience for customers. So the use of smart shelves and smart changing rooms with video walls to give that sort of extra pizzazz to a retail store, I think is going to be very useful in the near future. And we have tried to position ourselves that we can actually deliver this very easily and quickly, not only to the bigger retailers, but also to the smaller ones as well. And I hope that helps them move forward. I hope this has been of interest to you, and obviously I'll take any questions afterwards. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Viv, for your presentation here in our forum. And yes, there are some questions I'd like to forward to you, if it's okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, the first question is regarding a warehouse stock control, what is the best approach? RFID tag at pallet level or boxes inside pallets? Many manufacturers don't use RFID, so we need to tag everything at the warehouse arrival.
Yes, I mean, it depends on how people, their supply chain operates. If you have the ability to control your manufacturers, then yes, you can get them to tag at source, which is the ideal thing. But if you haven't, then tagging at the distribution center is the only option. And obviously that's time consuming to a degree, but then you are getting item level tagging, and that's typically where you want to be. You want to be item level tagging at least the distribution center to make it worthwhile. Yes, it can be time consuming, but we have people who do that because they have not got control over their manufacturers to get them to do it instead. But more manufacturers are.
Yeah, but they see the benefits for them doing this time consuming tagging, because
Yes,
they have the benefits in the store process then.
Correct, and also between the distribution center and the store for again accurate deliveries and on-time deliveries. But yes, the store is where it really helps, and that's where most people start. Perfectly honest.
Okay. Yeah. Next question, right off the chat here. What is the price model for the software? Is it based per store?
It is. There's actually two price models depending on how people want to go. It can be based per store per month. So it's an all-in figure for the software and hardware, and that helps because if you can apply that to your operational budgets rather than your capital budgets. So it makes smaller stores more interesting. It's a bit like a mobile phone. You buy a mobile phone or on a contract, and the idea is that you can do it per store, and it's a fixed price per store. But some people still want to go and have a capital purchase, and that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and I see another question here regarding the dual tags. Do you use RFID RF and RFID AM as well?
Yes, we can do EAS and also the sort of the AM models as well, and so we can use both of those. And the idea is obviously that you can still keep your existing EAS system and use those as well. So again, those can be obviously they can be reused and again and again, of course, because they are hard tags, and some people like that as well. So it's really down to the individual customer whether he wants to use them or not.
So there are pros and cons for both.
There are pros and cons that yes, you have to recycle them, which takes extra effort, but you are actually recycling and not effectively throwing a single-use tag away.
Okay. Just have a quick look here in the chat. I think, yeah, that was the last one. Okay. Yeah, maybe there will come some more questions during the panel. When you stay with us, I will forward them to you, of course, after the next lectures. Otherwise, yeah, DENSO is also on the digital exhibition, where you can find all the contact details of the experts there. Yeah, thank you very much, Viv,
Thank you.
for now.